Thank you. All right, guys. Yeah, go for it.
Basically a dead rubber. So basically, where are the improvements that you're seeking as a team? Because even if it's a dead rubber, there's a lot of learnings that you have to do. What are the improvements that you want to do in this match?
Yeah, so there's two areas. Firstly, the top six. We'd like to see, after what we had some good starts, we'd like to see some of the senior players in there actually take that on and take the score deep for us. I mean, to put a challenging score on the board for India to chase. So we need to take responsibility for doing that. And then in the bowling department, it's a constant work on. We see how India exploit the conditions when they're out in the field. We have to try and replicate that. And obviously keep the pressure on the Indian bowlers all the time, on the Indian batsmen all the time. So they're the two areas that we're seeking to improve.
Well, how do you look forward to the third match of the series, 2-0 down? So how do you look forward to tomorrow's game?
We are very much looking forward to it. Obviously, we'd like to be 1-1 here, but that's not to be. So we have to look at this as another opportunity to firstly learn. Obviously, we have a World Cup coming up, so what can we take out of the experience, which has been superb so far for our young players out there and some of the senior ones. But equally, we want to win. I mean, we're here to play good cricket. We're here to win. And that's the attitude that we'll show tomorrow.
And another question to you. What kind of a difference has Umran Malik has made to this Indian bowling attack? Because you don't see a genuine Indian quick that often.
Well, I think he's bowled superb. I mean, you watch, he can change a game. When he comes in, the pace makes batsmen do strange things at times. And being an ex-fast bowler, I do enjoy watching fast bowlers work. I think the areas that he's bowled, he's hit a length hard. He used the wobble seam beautifully and used his bouncer really well as well. So I think we can learn a lot from watching these guys.
Hi Chris.
Hi.
So this is a question about like Sri Lankan spinners. Like when you compare them with Indian spinners, I think they've been a little less effective in this track. So like, do you think there is a larger issue that Sri Lankan spinners are not being able to match their performances in 2020 matches when compared to ODIs? Like, I mean, is there any area of improvement that you see?
I think spin for Sri Lanka in the T20s has been a strength of theirs for a long time. Obviously, people will have bad days every now and again, but equally we can't lose sight that the spin in our T20 teams has been a strength of ours, and it will continue to be a strength, and we'll continue to back these players to win us games of cricket. I think equally in 50 over cricket, it's obviously, there's more time in there, they have to learn to hold their lengths, so it's a different type of skill set, but equally we have some very good spinners who will benefit from this experience. When they come back for the World Cup, they will know what lengths to bowl, know what lengths they have to, or what lines they have to hold, and they will be richer for it. So I think that's what we've got to look at, and just keep, again, progressing our players through, because quite rightly you said, if you put them on paper, the experience within that Indian batting lineup in particular is immense. So we have to give them a lot of respect, but equally we have to push them hard as well. And I think that's one positive we can take from the last game, is in the field trying to defend what was a low score. We kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and that's something that I asked for them. Find a way in, find a way of taking wickets, and let's push these as hard as we can. So I thought we did that last game.
Okay. Like, yeah, I mean, can we expect some changes, I mean, especially in the bowling department?
You'll have to wait and see.
You have some quality players, but inconsistency is the major issue.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a work on. There's no point hiding away from that. One of the things, as I've already said, is the top six have to get us runs, and we have to find a way of consistently putting big scores on the boards. And sometimes it's just encouraging the batsmen to free their minds, to set the ceiling higher and to think bigger, but to have the confidence to go do that as well. And that's the type of environment we're trying to create. We want the players to express themselves, and we want the players to go out there and score big, individually score big runs, but as a group, post big totals. But we have to encourage them to do that, and we have to be brave enough to do that as well.
You just mentioned the two mistakes that you had to rectify is one. about the top 6 in batting, and the second is the putting pressure on the Indian batsmen, right? But taking into consideration the last 2 ODIs, the economy rate of the bowlers has been immense, like about 7 or 8 in fact. So what are the measures that you are trying to take for the third ODI? Any one step that you want to implement?
Well, let's just, I mean, if we look at the last ODI, for one, we had no option but to attack. So naturally the economy rates are going to be high because we had to get wickets. We had no option than to attack and try and get them, because we're never going to defend 215 in 50 overs. We're never going to run it down to 50. So we had to, how do we get wickets? And sometimes that costs you runs. So I have no problem with that. The first game, we didn't hold the line and length well enough, especially in the first 10. India got off to a flyer, and then to pin that batting lineup back is very, very difficult once it has momentum. But the learning for us, again, and I've mentioned this, learning from the Indian bowlers, is hitting the length hard on a good line constantly, and then having a good slower ball and a good bouncer. So how can we train those skills into our bowlers so we can replicate that and be successful in these conditions? The fact is that is still a work on for us. We have to recognise that, embrace it, and just get better. And that comes through practice and obviously playing and putting ourselves in that situation where we can try and put that right.
Do you